Hey everybody, Scott Stevens here as we look at a little bit of weather around the states, and we'll even take a gander across, we'll stop by in Greece and, of course, China. China has had a little bit of our attention for a little bit while. I didn't want to get that up there just this quickly, but there's some things kind of evolving over there. The food thing is one thing that for better part of 3 months we've been talking about to some degree. First, with COVID, the interactions with the supply stream, the health of the farmers, ability to get seeds, trucking, farmers not being able to even deliver food into the cities before it is either hijacked, stolen, destroyed by the CCP. So other issues have been ongoing for a while in China, and that's unfortunate the way that is played out. And then to have the magnitude of rains that they have had show up, and the inflows into the Three Gorges Dam is 700% of normal, 7 times what is typical. There's just no way they can deal with it, and they can let it out at maximum capacity, but still the pool level rises, and I think it was Tuesday when I saw the last legitimate report, and who can even say about that it was some 56 feet above critical stage. So it still continues to rise as the rains are happening. So we will pop over there and look at what happens when some of these dikes and dams break. What they need to do then is improvise, and that's the situation there. As they've had to bring in buses, literally buses. And in doing that, they're trying to fill this gap that is happening in there. So there we go. We're just putting these, whether they're still used, whether they're out of commission because the cities are underwater, they're reconditioning or recommissioning these buses. And to my eyes, look, those are LED lights on the back of that. So this is not an old bus. And they're using them to basically plug a hole that has shown up as if either a dike is broken or it was intentionally broken to relieve pressure. But nonetheless, that's the desperate situation that they find themselves over there. Where are the rocks? Is there not an ability to bring in rocks, or is this just a simple skeleton to then begin to build a barrier about? And I think that's probably more of what it is. A little bit closer to home, one of the sweet things that has happened today was with the storm that came on the west coast is Oregon is getting some rain. It has been some time since they've had some substantial rains, and I would anticipate, having looked at the radar on and off through the day, that this is one of the heavier rainfalls. But everything is simply breathing a sigh of relief as we get some of these cooling rains into Oregon, and with that, a reduction in the fire intensity and the fire risk that has been so high this summer, whether it's arson or not, or just lightning strikes from Mother Nature. Either way, they have been started. And then when you see this site, a DC-10 doing an airdrop, I mean, this is some like barnstorming capacities from the pilot to be able to pull this off. So kudos, dude, for being able to navigate that truly jumbo jet in that kind of situation. So here's another video that was on the Twitter feed from Oregon. So getting some sweet rainfall, and they deserve the relief. It has been a long 60 days with the smoke, with the fires really erupting in California about 31 July. That's when we first started talking about them here, and they've been going for August, and now we're deeper into September, so the better part of 6 weeks. All right, Tropical Storm Sally is gone. It's out to sea, but then that has opened the way, or just allowed the space for what is Tropical Storm Beta. I keep waiting for them to name this thing like Tropical Depression, 4, 5, 6, 21, 22, and now we're to Alpha. Alpha was off the coast of Portugal. It was just a quick little flash in the pan, so just a little notch on the on the counting board, the chalkboard. But here we are with Beta, which is going to be a much longer event. Here we are, 1 p.m. Wednesday as a tropical storm. Will likely be a hurricane for some point in time next week. And no, I don't think you're the only one watching. Dome and Fly. No, I'm seeing at least 5, but nonetheless, they kind of pop in and out, and we begin to build. But that's what's happening. So Texas, as I look at the models, just kind of skimming almost 70% of the coast will have a close call with this particular tropical storm, and that to me is kind of frightening. There's Alpha, almost off the map, way over there off the coast of Portugal, and then these other incidences, and we've had 3 named ones pop up inside of 24 hours, and that has, let's just say, I don't know if that has happened before, to have 3 just boom inside of 24 hours getting their name. There it is, depression in the Gulf of Mexico becomes tropical storm, and here's the rest of them spread on out, and then Beta churning in the Gulf. But also interesting is the sunspots and how that impacts low clouds, low cloud formation, so forth and so on. So we're having our second 30-day consecutive run of spotless days on the sun. This has happened. Actually, it was an incredible run back in the early 1900s, 1912, 1913. 1913 having 2 of those, and there were some crazy weather years there as well. All right, the fire situation, a little tenuous still out west, but the rain has definitely helped. Critical fire weather predicted for the Great Basin and Western Rockies. The majority of wildfire activities in California, Idaho, Montana, Oregon, and Washington, with 79 large fires that have burned in combination 3.8 million acres, 4 new ones, 3 contained, and total burned so far for the year, 7 million and not quite 16,000. So a little bit on the intense side. The GFS, as far as getting some rain into those folks out west, the browns, as we can see down at the scale towards the bottom, we begin to get into below normal precipitation versus greens and blues where we have above normal, and the below normal is far more widespread than the above normal precip. But as we move through the end of September, but particularly October, it can be a dry month. You know, the inflow coming in from the south and from the Gulf of Mexico in particular is kind of shut down. The monsoon is largely over. So this is not atypical, but if you're going to get some sunny, comfortable days, October, and it really helps the farmers then kind of wind things down. As far as record temperatures, record highs, maybe one site was modeled to have a record heat just outside of Miami at Fort Lauderdale at 92, tying a record back in 1936, but then nothing, no record heat across the country. Yes, some record cool minimum, so some nights come tomorrow morning in the 30s, so that's a little bit brisk, and we'll likely see some frost beginning to show up in those locations. Michigan, western New York State, looks like Binghamton, New York, and then even down into Jersey as some of that very cool fall air begins to settle on in there. But warm nights or very, very chilly nights, those definitely in store over the next couple of days, but primarily over the east, unlike last week where it was decidedly the mountain west that was cold and getting a record snowfall for so early in the season. 116, 13 miles west of Winter Haven, California, that's appropriately named. And then Cole at Brimson, Minnesota at 19 degrees. Ooh, that's putting a little frost on there. Okay, there's our storms as of the latest update just before 5 p.m. Eastern time from the NHC. There's Beta, a movement north-northeast at 8 knots or 9 miles per hour. The center pressure is still fairly high at 1,004 millibars. Teddy's going to be something to play with. It's going to be an issue up in this region, in the Maritimes of Canada. If we get a low that comes in a little bit deeper to the west, it might pull it into the coastal areas of Maine. That is a very, very real possibility. And there it is, nice eye wall construction, nice symmetrical shape and presentation. Here's Alpha, and then there's the coast of Portugal, and then the Iberian Peninsula with Spain back in there. And this has really been a good rainfall event, so bringing some really good rains. Remember a couple of summers back, they had incredible fires in Spain and Portugal. Not the case this year. The case has really been rains in most locations. Back into clouds and some moisture along the Texas coast. I wouldn't mind moving this location. So let's change regional sectors. Pop on down here to the south. It'll open up the view and see if we can't get Beta in here. A little more visible. It's certainly more visible in this perspective, but still look at all this smoke. All this smoke. So that sky, that sun, it still has that red cast, or the blue sky looking more gray blue. And this is going to be Beta. We will be watching this through the middle of next week, without a doubt. Across the nation, this is the rains into Oregon and even some showers into southern central Idaho, where they still have had some fires. And then we've got beta down here, but the west is finally cooling off as the cool, dry conditions have settled in very, very nicely into the south and east. And these black spots west of Laramie, that's a fire. I had a good-sized one down in south of Burley Rupert in central Idaho, but now that's obscured by clouds, and hopefully we're getting some rain. Same story with the Sierra of California, likely with some rainfall, not so much on the coastal areas, but some, and certainly Oregon and Washington. Those areas are absolutely getting that rain, and we're grateful for that. They have needed it for a while. All right, temperatures on the hour, still triple digits, Southern California, western Arizona, even into southern Utah, Cedar City, St. George, not too far off the triple digits, and then cool. Michigan, straight up chilly. It's no wonder they froze last night in Minnesota with that 16-degree low. That is just brisk and likely setting the stage for that kind of a chilly night once again. And we've had a cool front make it all the way down to the Gulf. It's literally in the Gulf. And the beta will probably attach itself to the end of that end of this trough, whereas Teddy will come in from the northeast and link up to another one towards the north. So the cool high is settled in, and that just means a beautiful, beautiful sweater, small jacket, maybe even a decent jacket if you're visiting those locations in the Great Lakes states as tonight progresses. And some rains. Look at that. And the Owyhees, southwest of Boise, Treasure Valley, even to the Magic Valley of southern Idaho, getting a little bit of rainfall. And then good rain into Portland and Seattle. It has been a dry summer. So this, very, very welcome. Takes some of the pressure off the firefighters. They can let Mother Nature, they can stand back and let her put a barrier around the fire. Where the fire is, it can begin to burn itself down. The temperatures come down, and the aggressiveness of it just slowly diminishes. So that's really kind of what needs to happen. A couple of days worth of that rainfall. You can tell I recently refreshed the browser, the computer, and everything hadn't been preloaded. But some rains in South Texas as well as beta. Don't quite have the wider view of that just yet. It's just out of radar range. Way down here, we just don't have the ability to see over the horizon, the curve of the earth just yet. It's not within our capabilities, at least not for shall we say, civilian tasks. Let's come over to the GFS, because this other guy, we could run this. And what we're really going to watch is beta, and just watch how it plays on this coast. Just plays on the coast. Approaches Brownsville, Corpus, South Padre. It's their Monday morning. Sunday night, everybody will be hunkered down and no work Monday as they watch this thing come inland and then back out and then slip up the coast, up to Houston. And now, yesterday, it was kind of taking it into Houston and then dissipating it. Now it's taking it a little bit farther towards the north and east, along into essentially where Laura came ashore, into that very, very same area, Port Arthur, and a good soaking. So Louisiana's just had one ugly season, and the petrochemical industry just hammered, just repeatedly hammered about this. So that's going to be the risk there. And then a deep low dives out of Canada, plunges to the south, and it grabs it and then just drags it on up to the north. And then another cool surge comes in from the northwest, but that's the 1st of October. That's a little ways away. We'll see what happens with that. And then what is this? What is this right here? Another one, another storm. So I have this feeling, I think we went through 8, 9, 10 named storms in 2005 that used the Greek alphabet. At this pace, we'll probably go beyond that. We'll probably go way beyond that. This season is literally just unprecedented. All right, one other look, and as I kind of rewind this, we've got this trough that's bringing the rain into the west, and here's Teddy out here, beta with a little weak spot in here. So we'll kind of roll this through, and we can see that Teddy really, we're looking at Nova Scotia, Newfoundland here, and Prince Edward Island. Those places are kind of under the gun, but almost every successive run has brought this storm ashore a little farther to the west, and then that begins to impact more and more landfall, more and more coastline by mileage. If it were to just clip Newfoundland up here, that's one thing. But if it comes in a little farther south and west and then rakes the whole region, then that becomes a whole different affair. And then that appears like what we're on the verge of. The other thing, we'll roll this back and just kind of watch. This is the latest model. It didn't end up in College of DuPage. This company or this guy, well, they just weren't able to import the latest model, so that's why we're looking at this one. But what we've got is just a risk for the South Texas coast. That whole coastline going to be under the gun. And then on and off, they're predicting a load to drop into the west, which would help the other firefighter situations. And the latest one tends to want to bring that low in. So I'm all for that. I'm all for a little bit of rain. As dry as the west has been and as deep as the drought is, look at that. It just, every single raindrop is of benefit at this point in time, regardless of the condition of the crop. We just have to have the water. It just has to happen. It's been so dry for so long. Thank you, Laura. I just doing this. Fridays are kind of the end of the week. Everybody's out doing their thing. I'm just kind of running around, enjoying the end of the week. If you've got a paycheck, good for you. Good for you. Otherwise, we're home Netflixing, and what do they say? Chilling Netflix. That kind of thing is happening a lot. Or just stream a whole bunch of Facebook. That happens too. So we got people coming over tonight to have a little barbecue outside. So I'll bid you adieu and catch you Monday. And if beta looks a little more interesting, we'll pop in here on Sunday afternoon just to kind of catch you up, because it's going to be an interesting week nonetheless. In any case, have a great weekend, everyone. I'll catch you on Monday. Got some interesting guests coming up for another perspective. We'll bring you a list of that on Monday. And we got crazy times ahead, so we kind of want to look at some of these folks that are in the know in a way. And we'll talk about that then. All right, guys, have a great weekend and keep